Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to another episode of The Tale Continued, the podcast companion series which pairs with Crusader's Tale, an original film series. This episode pairs with Season 2, Episode 4. And with me today, I have a special guest star, Eric Larimore, who plays Pope Celestine III in Crusader's Tale Season 2. And in addition to having some acting chops, Eric is also my dungeon master for our D&D group for Dungeons & Dragons. So I'll let you kind of elaborate a little bit about that.
DMing for you for three and a half years, something like that, but DMing just in general for 5-6 years, easy, a bunch of campaigns, lots of characters.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's fun to do stuff like that,
It is. I mean, we've had so much fun with the campaign. I mean, I've sincerely appreciated the level of detail that goes into the different characters and the NPC voices and how different they are.
They're different, but at the end of the day, you always know that it's me.
Yeah, yeah.
A lot of them still have my personality attached to them, which
yes.
I'm sorry, I'm no Seth MacFarlane. I can't do a million voices.
I don't know. I mean, it works pretty well because we've had we've had the innkeeper who sounds like an old lady. We've had the badass wizards who are dark and foreboding, and we've had the little gnomes and goblins that have the squeaky voices, and even animals.
I mean, you have everybody's favorite, the meat or no meat, the Consuela sounding character, which was never my intention, and you guys just ran with it.
It was funny.
All right, you know what? And then you loved her so much, I had to bring her back later on in the campaign because.
It was she was a barkeep who was serving food, and then she turned out to be like a dragon queen or something. Because we loved her so much that you had to.
I had to bring her back. I had to put her somewhere else in the story for you guys.
I appreciate that because that I don't know, it was very funny, but it was also special because of course we were having a good time, so it gave us a chance to just have more inside jokes come back around, which is cool.
And that's one of the things I like about D&D and acting in general is to, you get to be silly and have fun, but then sometimes you have to have that serious side of things.
Yeah.
So you slip into that different role, and for right now, everything is doom and gloom and depressing, and you're on the verge of tears, and then you cut or you finish that section of the campaign, and now it's now we're joking around about it, whereas 10 minutes ago you were ready to cry. So, and I like having that ability. That's what I try to do with my storytelling in the campaigns, as well as what I try to project in any character that I've ever played with in general, was just you gotta have that character, but you still gotta have that side. Your personality still has to kind of come through in some way, shape, or form, because that's what brings the character to life.
I mean, that makes sense to me because it's not only having the range to just make it feel real and honest, but even just it just makes it more exciting too. It could feel very wooden and boring otherwise if you don't. So I like that.
You gotta put yourself in the situation, I think for instance with playing Pope Celestine, I just put myself in that mindset, how would I have felt coming into if I was really that person, or in a similar situation like that, how would I have felt walking in and walking into this? That's what I went with. So.
Well, I appreciate that because that, of course the scene turned out really well. So yeah, definitely. I mean, that was really cool. It was, it's, I think the third or fourth scene in that fourth episode. For viewers who are just like a very brief recap here for the viewers who are listening right after the episode, or even for viewers that are maybe tuning in a couple days later. This is a point in the season where the lead villains of the show in this season have kind of caused some trouble, and now they're under fire from their boss, is essentially the best way to put it, where there's the knights who serve the kings, and then the kings serve the pope, because in medieval society, of course, there's no higher authority than God, especially in Christian Europe, and the pope is sort of the messenger to God.
God's assistant, so to speak.
Kind of, yeah. Like his mouthpiece.
Or secretary,
Yes.
whatever you want to think, however you want to look at it.
Yeah.
That's so sacrilegious, I'm sorry.
I'll allow it. No, but I mean, it's true. It's because he was like the highest authority in the land, even more than kings in a lot of ways. And so that was really exciting that we got to show that. Having that level of hierarchy, I guess.
Yeah.
So I guess let's talk about that. As you're trying to find the voice for Pope Celestine. The script of course helps because it gives you the lines, but you mentioned that you're trying to go into that and you're trying to put yourself in his shoes and imagine how he feels if he has to lay down the law and sort of punish his underlings who have misbehaved, for lack of a better term. But I guess how did you perfect that? Like, how did you get yourself so much in the mind that you could literally portray that as well as you did?
Just, seriously, it was just, in that moment, it was like, what really pisses me off right now?
Okay.
And that's kind of what I focus on.
Okay.
Like, it also, I mean, at the time, peek behind the screen, DM term. But at the time, it also helped. I was really stressed out at work. Okay. So it let off a lot of steam.
Good.
To basically just be able to sit there and like, no, you shut up and you listen to me for a minute. I'm talking.
Yeah. Let
me say my piece. You're gonna listen to what I say. I'm gonna cut. So later, So that really, I mean, that to me really, it was cathartic almost. Like, okay. I left that day and I was like, wow, I feel better.
I'm glad that it was relieving. I mean, the scene reflected that, I would say, because it, literally as you described, like the Pope shows up, comes in at like an 11 out of 10 rage, and then just leaves. And it's like there's a silence in the room when he's gone that just everyone's like catching their breath and like, what just happened?
and what I think, to me, one of the parts of that whole scene that really stuck out to me was, I'm yelling at these guys, and then all of a sudden I just turn and in the softest possible voice, have you been hurt? Are you okay?
To King Richard.
Yeah. And it's like, like I'm coddling a child.
Yes.
All of a sudden, or my cat fell off my lap or something. So, God, are you okay? Poor thing. And then just like a switch, I just, you just turn back and you're just like, what the hell? So
it's like when your mother is mad at your sibling, and then you're the younger sibling, so they turn to you and they kind of treat you real sweetly, but then they go back to the older brother. All right, well, now you listen here.
I'll have to take your word on that. I'm an only child, so I didn't get to experience that.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I mean, I get what you're. I get what you're coming from on that.
Or like from a DM standpoint, like there's sometimes where maybe one person in the group is horsing around a little bit too much.
That's normally you.
Usually. Yeah. Usually I just get off on these weird tangents, especially with the one campaign we did where my character went around just knighting everybody.
Yeah, well, we turned that into a big thing though too.
We did.
You just kind of flow with it at that point and just, this is how it is. All right, cool, let's do it. Or the one day that we typically played for between 4 and 6 hours every single, every other Sunday, and you guys, one session spent 3 hours shopping. And that was, so then that's a lot of, oh God, what are the prices of this?
Yeah, I mean, and that was like in some ways it was funny because of course that's unexpected. We didn't plan to spend that much time shopping, but then it led to some special items coming into the mix, which then affected the whole rest of the story uh, in a way that I don't think any of us expected to have these magical weapons, and so maybe we kind of cheated the system
You did.
a
You
little.
did. I mean, I let you guys get away with murder. I mean,
Yes.
I definitely overpowered you. But I just, I flow with it.
Yeah.
We make it fun. I mean, that's, improv. That's where improv comes into play.
True. And at the end of the day, that's why we're there. Is we're there to have fun. We're there to
Yeah.
game.
You
So
slip into another character for a little bit, and
yeah,
you just, kind of forget everything that you really have going on in real life.
sure.
You roll some dice, you have some laughs, and you listen to somebody tell you a story, basically.
I'm all for it because that. I mean, yeah. I mean, I enjoy it, and I guess specifically an example that would probably be good to share is with Arash, the Dragon Knight character who is obsessed with knighting people and was this, super honorable character, very over the top in a lot of ways,
Oh
but
yeah,
it was very fun because it just I don't know it gave me a chance to I guess get all that hero energy out in the game and then maybe feel refreshed by the time the work week comes around because then I'm not as stressed about what's happening with work that week. It's just, you're thinking about after the session all the memes and inside jokes that happen that, all that stress blows away.
oh, you mean like his unnatural obsession with Jamna? One
Yeah.
of the what is she was actually just supposed to be a thief that was trying to steal stuff,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden, like everybody's like gravitating toward it. That was another instance where it was like, okay, I have to make this character a bigger deal than she's
Yeah.
really supposed to be. And you
Yeah.
never know what you're gonna have when you have
Yeah.
an NPC like that.
I mean, like when you do a voice that sounds really funny, or like if it's well characterized, it's kind of like characters in the TV show even. It's maybe a good example actually because Dazar from Crusader's Tale is basically the equivalent of Jamna or Dragon Consuela Lady. Like Dazar was just a one-off character who William and Fadi encountered at one point in season 1, episode 2, and they helped him save his village from an evil French knight. And then that was it. That was the whole point of Dazar. That was it. He was done. But Melvin did such an amazing job portraying him that we said, well, we got to bring him back because
Yeah.
he did too well to just not have him go back. And popular demand from viewers too. We kept getting questions from fans saying, well, when's Dazar coming back? We wanted to see him in the finale of season 1. Oh, gee, okay. And people were like, well, he better be in season 2. Okay, so we definitely found a way to sneak him in. And at this point, it's not a spoiler because by the time people are listening to this, they'll have seen the announcements that are coming. But there are like spin-off shows and stuff coming, other seasons that we're doing. Dazar is 100% coming back with a much larger role, and Dazar's wife as well.
Oh, there we go.
He has a wife now on screen.
You gotta give some extra backstory.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
mean,
100%.
people.
That's
I
the
think
thing.
I think
It grows.
Yeah, and it's always nice when you get that feedback, like, hey, I
Yeah.
really liked this, and I want you to do it again.
Yeah.
So that's good to hear.
Yeah, I appreciate it because it means that fans care about it, which is what we want. Because this is, as much as it's a story for us to enjoy telling, I mean, the real point of any, storytelling, whether it's a game like role playing or a movie or a book, is you're trying to tell a story that people own, and it helps them in their daily lives. And yeah, I mean, the viewers own the story as much as we do as a crew. So
Totally, yeah. People put themselves in things. Whether it's reading a book,
yeah.
or watching a TV show, or listening to music, even.
That's true. I mean, yeah, it's the beauty of it. I mean, that's what art is supposed to be. So I I'm just glad that people like it enough that they actually have suggestions, because if nobody had a suggestion, it means we probably failed at telling the story.
Yeah.
Like, just
100%. Yeah.
yeah, like you want that feedback.
Yeah. Well, you need feedback. You know, again, even back to D&D. You know,
Yeah.
I'm constantly asking you guys, hey,
Yeah.
what can I do? Like, what can I do to make this better? Where
Yeah.
do you see your character progressing? Like, you know,
Yeah.
you got to get that feedback if you want to, you know, continue to keep, whether it's players or viewers, you know, engrossed and invested in these things.
And I appreciate that question too when you've asked many times, because, you know, we're playing a couple sessions in a row, you know, over the course of a couple months or something like that, and I have a certain direction that my character is just going because it just feels most real for me as the player. But then a couple months later, you know, my life changes and suddenly I have a little bit of a change of heart where I see a different direction and then I want to shift that way, and that's where that question is really nice because yeah, like characters' personalities change. Like Arash experienced that. Carl, the new character that we're rolling with, he's experienced quite a lot of twists and turns in his journey where he almost can't even figure him out, which I kind of like because he's just a weird, odd duck.
Yeah, he's a druid who barely casts spells and would rather just act almost like a barbarian.
And he's an orc.
And yeah, an orc druid, which is bizarre enough as it is, but like I think the backstory you created for your character is really good. I can't wait to show you what I've done with it.
Yeah.
That's coming soon. You know, spoiler alert for everybody listening. Not that you're gonna know anything that happens to his character, but
that sounds good to me. I mean, of course, the day that we're recording this podcast, tomorrow we'll actually be playing.
Yes.
But of course, for viewers listening,
do they even know what date it is?
No, they don't. I mean, I could tell them that it is October 12th that we're recording.
It's 2024, people.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, by the time they hear this, it's going to be probably well into December, I would guess.
It might even be January.
It could be.
We might be speaking to them from the past.
I think we are.
We are definitely speaking to them from the past, right?
Yeah, because no matter what time it releases, it's going to be at least a month away from now.
Yes.
Like at the very least, because we're still trying to secure venues for the premiere, stuff like that. I mean, we've got a whole laundry list of things that we have to do, but it's all fun stuff.
I'm excited for the premiere. Hopefully I can make it down for that.
I hope so.
Or up. Yeah, up.
Up. Well, not Indiana, not exactly.
Like 5 minutes from Indiana.
I mean, you're like basically a stone's throw, so I always prefer to visit Indiana.
Yeah. I prefer Indiana too.
Yeah. Sorry, I've got my cat Brody screaming. I don't know where he is.
He's right here.
Okay, sounds good. I was just gonna pet him, but
he doesn't want to be pet.
I think he wants food.
Don't we all?
Yeah. He and I both. But yeah, you know, I appreciate the fact that D&D has honestly helped so much with the characterizations, because I can tell you and the listener alike that, you know, as much time as we spent in session, just inhabiting someone else's body, I guess, for lack of a better term, that helped me get into character as William for season 1 and kind of figure out who he was, because I felt like I'd already done a little bit of some level of performance.
Yeah.
And that was helpful for sure.
And you know, and again, you know, you know, the story that you're telling with this, there's, you know, historical significance, whereas the story that I'm telling with everything else is totally off the cuff, made up, you know, sometimes spur of the moment, just because, you know, I'm busy, I got a full,
Sure.
you know, can't. Trust me, if I could play D&D as a permanent as my full-time job, I would do it.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Because that would be amazing.
Like as a Twitch streamer.
Yeah, or, you know, just do my own podcast where, you know, like a Let's Play podcast.
Yeah.
Like some ones that I listen to. But I don't even remember where I was going with that. But yeah,
I mean, I feel like I'm picking up what you're putting down, where it's, you know, it's about the enjoyment.
yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what it's gonna boil down to at the end of the day. Is, you know, we have to have fun doing it, and I think if those of us that are involved in it in the process enjoy it, it's gonna make it more enjoyable for the viewers.
I would agree. I mean, I think that's wise because you can see, like, it comes through, like the characters, like the actors who are doing the show, for example, you can tell who's really having fun with it, because then you get a scene like with the Pope where it was very high energy, or the battle scene where it's, yeah, that's not from this episode, but later in the season, you know, when there's sword fights and stuff, you can tell that people are having a good time because of the level of energy and the speed that goes into it, or even the music, like the composer Francisco. You can tell how much fun he has with it because when you listen to the track, you feel the passion.
Yeah,
like
a good
yeah,
a good soundtrack can, you know, make or break anything. It doesn't matter what you're doing. That's why for the longest time I was incorporating music into our D&D sessions, when we were doing them live. That is.
Yeah.
Now we're doing them online. It's a little bit harder to get that going.
It is.
But when I, you know, when we get together, I can still incorporate that.
Yeah.
Give that extra sense of everything.
Yeah.
It's just that added layer, I think.
I mean, I found that helpful for, like, if our characters are going into a dungeon to fight vampires or something like that. You know, you'd play this foreboding, like, creepy
Organ
music with, like,
and you get the fluttering of wings,
dripping blood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, a good soundtrack can really set the scene and immerse people in any kind of storytelling, whether it's playing a game like D&D or, you know, a TV series or a movie or anything like that.
Yeah.
Books on tape, for crying out loud. You know, still incorporate sound effects and music.
Yeah. I mean, it's just so necessary. I mean, so I appreciate that a lot, actually.
One of the things that I still think about. I mean, we filmed this. How many months ago was this scene done? This was a while ago. May. It was May. Yeah, it was May 4th because it was Star Wars Day.
Like 5.5 months.
Yeah,
ish.
It was May 4th. May 4th was the day that I.
It was May 4th.
Yes. It was Star Wars Day. That's how I remember that. As I'm sitting here in my Star Wars shirt.
Yeah, I see it. Yeah. Yeah.
What I thought was so much fun, that again, you know, the viewers or the listeners never really got to see, was we did so many takes.
Yeah.
This one day for this one scene that really was only a few minutes long.
Yeah.
But we did so many takes, and I spent so long yelling at these people.
Yeah.
And when we wrapped up and we finished, the fact that we were all just kind of sitting there laughing and joking around and, you know, throwing a ball back and forth and just, you know, it was that to me. I mean, that's the level of fun that, you know, I think was really needed.
I appreciate that because, I mean, I know I have fun with it, and I love when the other people involved are enjoying themselves. And, I mean, half the fun for me is bringing people together where, you know, I know friends of mine who I've worked on the show with who have met some of their best friends actually through the show, and they might not have otherwise. And it's just these crazy coincidences, and I'm happy to help facilitate that, just in a genuine, you know, I want people to be having a good time,
like
kind of way.
Friendship Cupid.
Kind of, yeah. I mean, kind of. I mean, like, that's a good analogy. Like, it sounds funny, but it's true, because it's, I mean, it's like the one friend who's always like, don't forget who put you onto that. Of course, I don't brag about it to people. But
I would. But that's me. I mean, I would be like, yeah, hey, let's not be forgetting who brought. Like, don't forget, I'm the one that brought you into D&D. So
true.
Let's not forget that.
That's true. I mean,
Um,
yeah. Well, it's just fun. I mean, you know, it's like fun when people are having a good time.
and the funny, what people still think is really funny to me, I played D&D twice before I started DMing.
Okay.
And I had no idea. I started playing D&D. A friend of mine brought me in and was like, "Hey, you know, come with me, go do this." You know, they gave me a pre-generated character, and I was like, "Okay," and I just kind of like learned the basics right then and there. And all of a sudden, after 2 sessions, I was like, you know, I think I can tell a better story, and I just started running my own sessions after that. I put a group together and just started going after it. So a lot of stuff that I do on D&D, like I learned on the fly.
Yeah.
And I think some of that has to, like, I can attribute some of that to my, you know, the time that I spent in acting. I mean, it was a long time ago, but you don't miss that.
Well, so you, because I know we briefly talked about this before we started recording the episode here. You did theater in middle and high school, was it?
Yeah, junior high and high school.
That's right.
Yeah. Junior high was just nothing. We didn't do any performances at our junior high, but in high school, I had something to do every performance that came out of that school.
Sure.
Whether I was on the stage as a lead role, somebody in the background, makeup, lighting, sound, stagehand, directing, you know, something. I had something to do with every performance.
Sure.
Part of that was just to get that experience with it. Part of it was because I liked it. It was so much fun to just do a little bit of everything. And another part of it was my teacher. Like, he really, you know, encouraged it.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest thing is he trusted me. Like, he knew that whatever I was going to do, I wasn't going to half-ass it. I was going to really try. So, if I was if I was acting a part in there, he would basically just be like, "Hey, this is your character's name. This is the mood he's feeling right now. Have fun with that." And then he just shoo me off.
Yeah.
And just, you know, fall into it.
It's great.
And then when it came to lighting, you know, he would go, "Okay, here's what I'm thinking." I go, "No, this is what we're doing." And he'd be like, "All right," and it worked every time.
He trusted you.
He never. It was never like a second.
Yeah.
Like are you sure about this? No, it was like, you want it done this way, do it this way.
I mean, and that's a good way to be. I would argue, because I've had to learn how to do that with the show. You know, I don't want to control things in the sense of being someone who's a tyrant. You know, I think my issue is that I get caught up in just, I feel bad asking for help because I don't want people to feel overworked or overburdened. So sometimes I have a hard time offloading, but I've had to really learn how to delegate and say, okay, this is your task. You're going to do it. I'm going to let you do it. And I'm going to have 0 suggestions because I trust you. Like, and things turn out way better that way because, like, with Zach, the cinematographer, I just say, okay, you do your thing. And he makes it great.
I think he nailed it. I mean, just what I saw. I mean,
yeah. I mean, he knows his stuff, and like, you know, you get the right people and you trust them and you set them loose. And, you know, I mean, David, who plays Fadi, like, he's very good at his stunts, and, you know, I might have one vision in the script of what a battle should look like, but he'll come to me and he'll say, well, this might work a little better. Hey man, do it. That sounds great. Yeah. Or like Sarah will she'll approach me with ideas from time to time where you know, like, really, well, this line might maybe work just with these couple words switched around. Okay, yeah, if it flows better, great.
I did that with you.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you have to.
Yeah.
Because, like, if you can't get into character, then the viewer is going to know that something's off.
I mean, I tried not to stray too far from, script you had written,
Right.
but for me, some of the lines, they just weren't.
Yeah.
It wasn't that it's, I mean, yeah, some of those words I'm not going to say in normal conversation, but
Yeah.
the sentence structure didn't like flow right
Yeah.
for me. So I
Sure.
was like, hey, I'm going to do it like this.
Mhm.
Tell me what you think.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
we just went with it.
And it was good. It worked out. And like you just, yeah, like you trust people that they're gonna give it their best shot, and you just enjoy the process. And yeah, I've really come to enjoy that very much. And even just some of the improv side of things too, where when we start to go off the cuff, that's where it's really helped. Where I've gotten to really get inside my character's head, so that regardless of what happens or how far we might stray from the script, because the improv is just popping off, like it's just working really well. You know, I can come back to the same base themes for William of like who he is, and I can more or less play out the scene in a way that feels true to him. That even when the camera cuts, the cinematographer or the assistant directors, whoever's on set, they'll be like, "Wow, that worked really well. Like that was improv. That felt like it was scripted."
Yeah.
That's a compliment. Thank you.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So
when you can flow that seamlessly, yeah. I mean,
yeah,
it definitely it helps.
it does. And you did that, which was awesome. And Ezekiel playing Duke Leopold, he flowed really well off the cuff, even with the trimming up of his accent to make it sound as good as possible. He was able to code switch on a dime to make it exactly where it needed to be for the right level of tension, but also, a character who's kind of gruff and tough, I guess. So he did an excellent job on that. Even with Garrett, who played King Henry of the Germans, the one who really more or less the Pope's ire is directed at.
Oh yeah.
Like he's who you're really pissed. Like Leopold's just the barking dog, but Henry is the one that actually is enabling the whole just mess that the whole season is becoming, where because they've taken a king captive. Excuse me, I'm stuttering. They've taken a king captive, and that's of course what the Pope is upset about. Yeah, like Garrett found a way to sort of tap into this like fear, almost like he's afraid of the Pope, and just knowing that that's like his base point, he just branched off from there. It's like, yeah man, you do it, like you go. Like he threw grapes at King Richard too, which was not in the script.
That's
funny.
Oh, that was great.
Yeah, it's funny.
Just the look on his face, like he was trying to keep it together the whole time.
I know.
Just during that first take when he's doing it, I was just kind of standing there going,
Because I mean, these are like bitter enemies. Like Henry and Richard, of course they hate each other because they're rival monarchs, different kingdoms. And we tried to show that, and that was his idea. Where he's like, "Well, I think this would work. Yeah, if Kyle's cool with it, do it."
and I think the other funny thing was earlier that day I hadn't even left to head to Wisconsin yet, and Kyle messaged me.
Oh yeah.
Talking about how Star Trek was better than Star Wars because he was trying to get me mad to get me in there. It worked, but at the same time I was like, you know what? I got this, but I'm not supposed to be mad at you, Janet.
But it was funny. Like,
it was hilarious that he did that.
Yeah. It's getting you riled and stuff. Like,
yeah.
I mean, you have to have some of that banter
hours beforehand.
Oh yeah, of course. Like getting you hyped. Like, I mean, it's just that's the stuff that I really enjoy with it all. Is that's where the inside jokes originate too, and everyone, really everyone in the entire show, has given an electric performance. Like everyone's just given it their 100%, and they've done amazing jobs, and I appreciate everyone very much. And just like perfectly casted, like everyone just fit it so well. And it's people have shown that they have this talent, whether they have a lot of experience or no experience, because we've got people of all levels, and it blends, and
Yeah.
that's where the fun comes in, I think.
Yeah, well, you can't have a bunch of professionals. You get 5 people together who are all experts in their field, and you tell them to do one task together, and everybody's going to have their own different way of wanting to get it done, and
True.
nothing is going to. But you get some people who are good at one thing, some people who are good at other things, some people who, they're just here for the ride, and
True.
you can make something magic.
It works.
It
I mean,
does.
it's true.
They're a D&D party.
Yeah, literally.
You have a bunch of different classes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that maybe they don't know each other, coming into it. They all come from different walks of life, and you give them a common enemy, and they somehow band together and defeat the dragon, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, like it's so true. Like it's an actual perfect analogy, because that is how it is. Like a lot of the actors, they've never met each other before, but they all know that we're gonna make this movie, and they're determined to see it through.
Yeah.
That's the dragon.
And in a lot of instances, you were the common link. Like you were the one.
Yeah.
That we didn't know each other, but we knew you.
Yeah, friendship Cupid.
Yeah. And that's what brought it all together.
Yeah, I mean I guess the one thing that in conversations with like the directing team and the producers and stuff too, someone's making noise outside. I hear. What are they saying? Are they
singing? I think.
Okay, so he's just vibing. Okay,
Yeah.
As long as no one's like calling for help or something. Sorry, I digress. My train of thought. Yes, like with the producers that I've talked with about as we're getting the scripts done and stuff like that. It's just come up in conversation that, obviously William is the main character, and a lot of the story hinges on where he's going. The other characters are very, very important and heroic and amazing, but it's like they all know each other because of him too, and that kind of bleeds through from real life onto the screen, like where you have this heroes party, Tanner and Liana and Fadi, and then William going to rescue the king. They wouldn't know each other if it wasn't for William, and that's it's another interesting just link in the story that you see these characters come together that you otherwise never would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at Lord of the Rings. Frodo.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, man. Who would have ever thought?
I know.
Like that little guy is gonna, be able to save the realm or
I know. Oh, heroes come from all places. Yeah, and like the Fellowship of the Ring too. Like you've got Gimli the dwarf and Legolas the elf and everybody else, and it's a D&D party.
People, different walks of life. Some of them were enemies to begin with, and now all of a sudden they're, saving the world together. Angels and demons.
True.
It's all, and it always goes back to the storytelling. As long as you're telling a good story, and you're having fun doing it, then
yeah. No, I mean it's good. I think it's true, and I mean even I would go so far as to say with because we have a very diverse cast too, and it works really really well. Where it's this awesome blend, where for the viewers, every viewer is going to be able to see it. A character that they can connect with in some way, shape, or form because of diverse characterizations and even just like literal diversity of like ethnicity and stuff like that. And it works because historically in the story, the characters literally are coming from all around the world, and they converge in the Middle East, this cradle of civilization, and it shows. Like that's maybe the one place in the world where you could imagine there being a samurai and knights and a warrior from the desert, and all these other characters, kings, popes. I mean, it's just yeah,
Pope. Only one. There's only one.
True.
I mean,
correct.
yeah. And
good catch.
Several kings, only one pope.
Right, because he's the messenger.
Yes.
The secretary. There's only one.
The secretary.
God has favorites. Yeah, pastors in town might not like hearing that. I digress. But it's fun. I mean, I'm just kind of poking because I know we had. Here's a peek behind the curtain. It's a bit of a. As a side note, like, a lot of ideas to go over and stuff like that. So I just want to make sure I touch on a couple things here. So you mentioned, because I know as we were talking, like, before we actually sat down to record, you mentioned something about the castle, like the actual venue that we filmed at.
Wow, that was so cool.
Yeah.
I knew, all right, we're here for a specific reason, but you can't be in a place like that.
I know.
It was amazing. Just walking around, seeing things. Was he the owner, or was he
Levi? I think that's maybe the best word. Yeah.
Okay.
He's the owner.
Super cool, super chill.
Yeah.
Dog.
The corgi.
Yeah, the corgi. Gotta give it up to the corgi.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it was that whole thing was just incredible, and the fact that we got to film there was so much fun, and it really, to me, it made it even more real.
Yeah. Being in a church,
having the holy symbols around.
Yeah.
It made me go, even more into, like, all right, yeah, I'm here to bust some heads now.
Which is good, because if it helped you get into character, that's good. I mean, we want that. It's a bit of a backtrack and a side note, but I think it's useful to share for the viewers. It's another situation of friendship Cupid, but in this instance, the friendship Cupid would be Jody Whitnebell. Now she is from Beloit, where we filmed in the castle, and the only reason we got to really film there is because she introduced me to their team and kind of helped make that connection. She wanted us to film there because she saw season 1, loved it, and really, really wanted to help see the show succeed. And that was so deeply appreciated, that she was very nice about that and helpful. And, she gave us an easy connection to have access to that location that I don't know where else we could have really filmed.
I mean, the only thing that I think could have made it any more realistic is if, they would have, we all would have gone
literally.
Day, yeah. But no, yeah, that was fantastic. And, I can't say enough about it. It was cool. I had to walk around it, even though I was hurting at the end of the day. I just recovering from knee surgery and everything.
Yep.
Can't tell. At least I hope you can't tell. But
maybe the anger helped release that.
Yeah.
The pain.
It was just the sheer the adrenaline.
Yeah. Of yelling.
Yeah, of yelling at everybody, knowing what I had to do. But I still had to walk around and take in that history, because it was still just super cool.
I mean, they had organs, holy symbols, as you mentioned, pews, paintings, stained glass.
Yeah.
I
mean, it was a chapel. It was It was a straight up castle chapel. I mean, it was perfect.
I'm glad
it went fun. Built a better set. I mean,
true. I mean, like it was so contained to like this one big room, very open. It felt like a very a big presence, because not only the Pope is coming in high energy, steals the scene, but literally the entire room itself is an open floor that just feels grander than life.
Yeah. It was great. And the echo, the sound, everything.
Yeah.
There was not a single part of that experience that I was like, I think this could have gone. No, I mean everything was just perfect.
I'm glad to hear it. I mean, because it means people are having fun, and I love that. So I'm glad.
I'm just glad you didn't kill the Pope because I have a chance to come back.
Right.
Yeah. Just throwing that out there. I am available.
Right. More jobs. Well, maybe. I don't know. I feel comfortable actually sharing this with the viewers. I think it's fair to give them a little hint here that the Pope does come back. He does. I maybe shouldn't say how.
He had the flaming sword. No,
Right.
That would be. I mean, that would be kind of bad.
Whoa. Hold on a second, because we did the Halloween special that we just filmed, and we're gonna release soon after we're recording this. On Halloween. Halloween's coming up, so we've already explored these sort of like comedy spin-off versions of the universe that maybe aren't part of the canon, but is something that, like, for viewers, just to give them like filler content. The Pope of the Flaming Sword could be that.
An avenging sword. I mean.
I might text Zach right now and suggest it. Like, I'm serious.
Branding smite right there, man.
An Easter special.
There we go.
An Easter special where the Pope
just heads the Easter bunny with a flaming sword.
I'll allow it.
Okay.
You know what? Because
there we go.
Purely for marketing and branding, like, just to get eyeballs on the page. Like, I mean, you got to do this crazy stuff with film to get people interested.
And I have to yell at somebody.
You yell when you chop his head off. I guess.
Right. Can I yell at the Easter bunny before I chop his head off? I mean, I got to be mad at him to chop his head off, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
you know what? Maybe the Easter bunny stole a child's egg, and that's sacrilegious, because children are the future and they're God's children, and that's disrespectful. So there you go. That's oh my God, that could be freaking hilarious.
It could be.
I'm pretty serious. I like where this train of thought is going. Actually,
I brought it up as a joke. I want that on record.
Oh, it's on record now. But this is the beautiful thing, because as we've talked about, like, how when people are having fun and improv happens and ideas flow, just like with D&D, where sometimes the characters go in a different direction because people just want to try something fun. I mean, that's how the Halloween special came about. Was David literally just said, "Hey man, we should do Knights vs Zombies." Okay, yeah, we can.
There you go.
Like, it's not part of the actual show. It's like the Star Wars Christmas special from '77, or
we don't.
Because it's not canon.
Yeah.
But it's the same vibe, right? It's like, it's something that's meant to be goofy.
Instead of going that one, because that those are forbidden. That's a forbidden land right there.
My dad says the same.
Yeah. Let's go. Marvel's What If.
Okay, that's a good example.
I
actually,
think that's a better analogy.
Okay. Yeah.
Like, hey, here's what you're used to seeing, but what if we did it like this?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's something that viewers like, because if nothing else, it's a way for us to creatively express ourselves and practice our skills, so that when the actual canon season comes around with, like, historical accuracy and costumes that are grounded within reality, then we're ready. We've done the groundwork. We're in shape for the stunts, or we're just practiced with the dialogue. We keep ourselves sharp.
Yeah.
Because if you take 8 months off of filming, then I know I feel awkward when I get back to set, because then I barely remember certain things.
I took years. I took decades off of filming or acting of any kind, really, and fell into D&D, and it just kind of flowed right back into it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like it's all about just that. I call it the like, getting the awkward part out of the way, is where you honestly just have to spend 5 minutes just getting over the fact that, oh, this is okay, a little less fresh right now, and then within 5 minutes, it's like, okay, we're good.
Yeah, it's like I'm about to make an ass out of myself in front of people that I don't know. I'm cool with that. Let's roll.
It's kind of fun.
Yeah,
I mean,
it can be. I
yeah,
I still get jittery sometimes with D&D.
yeah,
If I'm introducing a new NPC or
okay,
trying out a new voice or something like that. And again, I don't have very many voices. So I'm trying to like
yeah,
blend two or three other people into a separate voice, and then to try to revisit an old character
yeah,
from what in game might have only been a few days ago, but in real life it's been months since we did that character. I don't
yeah,
remember every voice I did for every character, so then it's like,
yeah.
but somehow you guys do.
We do.
You do.
Oh, it's in there.
Like,
It's in there.
I'll come out with a voice, and you're like, no, I'm gonna roll inside. That's not the same, but that's not the same voice. That's a different person. So now I have to backtrack and go, oh, okay, no, that's how it is. That's how it was.
Like you realize that, okay, I have to be Consuela for a minute.
Yeah.
Like, is that copyright or trademark?
I don't think it's a name.
Okay, because I mean, we're talking about Family Guy.
I wasn't talking. I was just talking about a character named Consuela that was in the game. I mean,
Fair enough. See, Eric's trying to throw me a bone here to like help me not get demonetized, and then I'm just like,
yeah,
no,
teacher, homework.
I'm that guy.
Yeah,
I'm
you were completely being that guy right now.
the class clown. I mean, I guess did you because I know you practiced the lines like a lot for the Pope with your wife.
Constantly, yeah. The
Yeah.
whole car ride, it was a 2.5 hour car ride up here.
Yeah.
And every like 3 miles, I was like, all right, let's do it again. And I think she knew the lines better than I did at some points.
Probably.
But she was reading them the whole time, so
Yeah.
I think she knew other characters' lines.
Sure.
So I'm trying to just focus on my stuff, and she at one point she's looking out the window, just like talking somebody else's line. I was like, oh okay, yeah, read me in.
I appreciate like that level of dedication.
But
like,
she even when we started on the car ride up here, and she was asking me, she's like, all right, you want me to read the lines to you? And she's like, well, this scene you're gonna be yelling at people. It's the whole point of the scene. She's like, don't yell at me. And I'm like, what? She's like, you're not in character when you're doing this with me. Don't yell at me.
right.
So I was like, okay, so now I'm trying to say these lines
Okay.
as just in just my normal speaking voice.
Right.
Without putting any inflection or emotion behind them.
Sure.
And
Okay.
it was so hard at some point.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's probably weird for her because being just on the back end of things, it's yeah. And being in an enclosed vehicle. I mean,
yeah. I understand why she didn't want me to yell at her, which I was all for that, but I the one where I interrupt,
yeah,
where I interrupt her, not you.
yeah,
The first time I did that to her, she froze, like
she's like,
"Is
whoa,
something wrong?"
And you're like, no,
No,
baby,
that's the line. That's
Yeah.
and then she read ahead a little bit. Oh, okay. And
she's like, wow, like, no, babe, it's all fine. Like, it's the script, I promise. Like, we're good. I appreciate the dedication. I mean, did you feel like that repetition helped? I mean, it sounds obvious.
to me, yeah, I mean, it definitely helped. Obviously, through the course of the month leading up to filming, I was looking at it and, okay, trying to commit it to memory, but, life was happening,
True.
work and, everything else going on,
True.
just in general. So,
Yeah.
Having that repetition for a few hours,
Yeah.
like on end, and, by the time we got in, I got into the to the castle to go, and everybody's handing out scripts. And I'm like, no, I'm good.
Yes,
So,
I remember.
Yeah, that was. I think you were looking because the one other project that I did for you. I mean, I had to have a script on my lap
for the Deep South comedy.
Yeah, and I don't. It's because I didn't rehearse as much.
I mean, which is fine because I mean, especially with like comedy, it's meant to be a little awkward.
Yeah.
Plus, it was kind of. Maybe I'm shooting myself in the foot by saying this, but I mean, that was. I mean, it was a fun project, but it was also just kind of a one-off. Like, we're just gonna have some fun with it. Like with Crusaders, I mean, we're really taking it quite serious because we're really trying to put it out there and like really take it somewhere big and eventually
and have it be something that continues.
Yeah, something
That's
that could. Yeah, something that could be streamed or like something that could make money. I mean, versus Deep South, it was like, we're just having fun.
This was for fun, testing the waters, seeing how things are gonna go.
Yeah, really, truly. I mean, so it is a different beast. So
it's completely different, but it's the same but different.
A little bit. I mean, I appreciate that you put in the effort. That's very kind of you to take it so seriously. Because I mean, if everyone involved wasn't so dedicated, I mean, I'm just one guy. Of course I put in a lot of work, but the whole show really is thanks to everybody's efforts. Like everybody else is really, they're the ones who actually bring it to life. I mean, I'm actually just a small part. All I really do is I just set the schedule, and even my character, he's just one guy. He has his journey, but I like to think that a lot of the people you meet along the way in the story are the ones who really give it life, because he can go on prattling about honor in 20 episodes and it just gets boring. But like you see how he interacts with other people, and then you see it like clash or bounce off each other, and that's where the magic happens, because you see how different personalities conflict, and then you feel like there's something fresh there.
Absolutely. And you want to talk dedication. I'm going to point this out because I'm sure nobody else knows this. The day we did that scene, I know you were in incredible amounts of pain. Your back you were having all kinds of back spasms and problems.
I was.
And the fact that you were on the floor crawling around for your part in that scene. I mean, those cameras cut, and just the look of torture on your face.
It sucked.
That was like I felt bad for you that day.
I appreciate it.
but I mean, at the end of it, I mean, you did what needed to be done. I mean, that's the dedication.
I mean, everybody does. I mean, it's just, I've had to see a chiropractor to get it dealt with, which is good. And honestly, like a big part of it is just diet and exercise, because if you don't take care of your body won't take care of you. And that's all it is. It's a wake up call to just, hey, maybe eat right, maybe go to the gym more. But
maybe eat a salad instead of that double cheeseburger.
Right, and
but then again, a salad costs like $10, and a double cheeseburger's $2. So that's the hard part, man. Yeah,
I mean that's an issue I've gone on at length with friends too. Is like just how hard it is to afford healthy eating. But no, I mean, like, really truly, like I appreciate that. I mean, thank you. I mean, it's like really everyone's giving it their all. I mean, we've literally got a crew that's doing sword fights, swinging swords, and safely doing stunts, and really tiring themselves out really hard to do it in a convincing way, but still pulling the punches enough where it's safe and stuff like that. Rolling around a lot, there's all that, and the inflections and the tones of the characters and the bodily movements to wave the hand in the way that really sells the line, and even just showing up on set. I mean, that's a big ask for people to devote hours of their life, and it's just I always tell people, thanks a million, because it's true. I do appreciate it, and the viewers for sure, they appreciate it, because they get this free entertainment,
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's really all for them. It's all for you guys, because if you guys didn't care enough to watch the show, well, there wouldn't be a show. Because
I mean, that's pretty safe to say.
yeah, I mean, like, if 2 people watch it, it's like, it's dead.
But at the same time, if we can bring entertainment to 2 people,
True.
I mean,
Yeah.
you know, it's still, we made 2 people smile today. Maybe those 2 people were able to go and make 2 other people smile.
True.
I mean, we can pyramid scheme this.
We could.
If you really want to get technical.
That's the goal.
So,
I mean, I appreciate that. I mean, I do appreciate that outlook, because it's, yeah. It's like, you want people to feel good. And, yeah. Whether it's 1 or 1,000. But, yeah, it's all thanks to the viewers, because they really keep it going.
So you heard him, everybody. Ask for more Pope.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's the moral of the story. That's
Yes.
actually...
Yeah, what we've spent the last hour telling you is to ask for more Pope.
That's it. That's the whole point.
And D&D, because it's a lot of fun.
Well, D&D is very fun.
It is.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
It's not worshiping Satan at all.
Not yet. I'm kidding.
Well, we have to get to the second part of it.
Yeah. We'll get there.
We'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens tomorrow. But so we did hit this hour mark here. So we're trying to keep them all consistent. But so I'll give it a little outro here. I mean, I guess, is there anything else you'd want to share with the viewer before they go into episode 5 of season 2? I guess what's your closing thought?
I know Jerry Springer. I have no, final thought or whatever. The whole experience was just it was a blast.
Thank you.
The story you're telling, really made it interesting for everybody. These characters are real. They're characters, but they're real people. And the whole thing was just, it was a lot of fun, and just look forward to more.
Cool. I mean, I appreciate that deeply. Thank you. And thanks for being part of it. And yeah, thanks for joining the podcast, because it's a good discussion, and it's something that I think viewers will just enjoy, or I hope.
Yeah, well, again, that's why we do it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, what better reason to?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's
I'm sure we had better things to do on Saturday.
that was pretty fun. I don't know.
I could have played the album.
You could, and in fact, I'm actually going to let you get to that. But yes, thank you for joining. I appreciate it, Eric. And thank you to the viewers as well who have listened here. Thank you for tuning in. Do stay tuned, because after this episode, there's more to come. Season 2 is not over yet. There is episode 5, and everything with the Pope and all the other characters is going to come to a head. There's a big climactic finish to season 2. So stay tuned for that, and of course, yeah, keep an eye out for season 3, because it is going to happen, and there will be the Pope.
Happen. Yes, yeah. Pope's going to be there.
Easter special as well.
Flaming sword.
Yeah. So thanks for tuning in, and we will see you next time.